All right, so let's get started. Hopefully, everyone can hear me okay. My fan is a little bit loud and kicks in every once in a while. But anyway, it should be okay. One quick thing before we start. I can see your comments as we go, but there's about a 30-second delay between what I say and then when you see it, and then when I see your comments back. So I think the best thing to do is I'll answer your questions after the live stream, and then it'll be posted up to the Facebook group, probably about 10 or 15 minutes or so after the stream ends. So any questions, just post them as comments and I'll answer them later. So let's start. So what are we trying to accomplish here? This is about Google Merchant. So the whole idea of Google Merchant is to let people who are interested in your products find your products. So I'm going to use this website, which is a real working live t-shirt gang or a t-shirt store, as an example. So it's called World Class City Tees. It sells t-shirts about cities. So as an example, we've got this t-shirt, A Sunny Place for Shady People, Lakewood. So it's a shirt about the city of Lakewood. Now this is what I call, if you read anything that I write, there's the idea of long-term sellers and hot sellers. This is not a hot seller. This is a seller that, as people occasionally are looking for a shirt about the city of Lakewood and they think it's funny, when they find it, they might buy it. So if one of these a year sells, I'd be happy. So we need to have lots of kind of shirts like this for people to find them. So how do people find this shirt? Well, let's do a search for this one. So if I go to Google, I'm not a robot. I'll find the bridges. Okay. And we're going to search for where to buy a sunny place for shady people Lakewood t-shirt. And you see what happens here is it's for sale on Amazon.com. We can see that. We can see on the right here that World Class City Tees is selling it for $19.99. In fact, this is a Google shopping ad over here. We can also see, just out of interest, that it's right here popping up in images as well. And it's right here popping up as an organic search as well. So if someone were to click on this and go to the site and buy it, that would be a free click. We wouldn't be paying for that advertising. Same thing if they clicked on it from here. If they click on it from here, which is prominent, there's going to be a charge that World Class City Tees has to pay for that click. But that's okay, and you'll see why later. So essentially, if I click on this, it takes me right to the site. It takes me to that shirt. And if I buy it, then that click has converted into a sale, and that's good, and that's what we want. So, let's see how, so all this is about pushing our products into Google so that they show up when people do searches for shirts that look like ours. And how does all this happen? Let me illustrate this by a slide. So we have a website. In this case, it's www.worldclasscitytees.com. And the site is hosted by T-Shirt Gang Commerce. So it's a T-Shirt Gang hosted free store. It's one of the stores that, if you're a Graphic Tee Coach Premium member, we probably helped you set up. So all the products get pushed from the T-Shirt Gang Commerce store, worldclasscitytees.com, or in your case, yoursite.com, to the Google Merchant Center. So Google Merchant gets a hold of all these products, and then from there, Google Merchant pushes them to the Google Ads platform. The Google Ads platform further has something called a Google Shopping campaign on it. And once all this sequence of stuff happens and we've configured everything properly all along the way, the result is what you just saw. Someone searches for a shirt that's on your site and it pops up as a Google Shopping ad on the right. And by the way, that's not the only place it'll pop up. It could pop up in eBay searches, it could pop up in Amazon searches, all kinds of other shopping platforms, which is one of the reasons why Google Merchant is a very effective, inexpensive way to advertise products. And if you're not doing it, you should. So continuing on, let's take a look at the Google Merchant dashboard. So remember, we're pushing products from the store to Google Merchant to the Google Ads platform. So actually, let's start on the store, and I'll show you what a Google Merchant feed looks like, which is the feed that is that arrow. So this is what the feed looks like. This is a single product. Right here. And what's contained in here is the SKU number, is the title of the shirt, a description, this classy custom shirt is available, blah, blah, blah. It's on cotton, etc. Here's a link to the site, a price, whether it's in stock or not, which it always is because we're in the print on demand business. We don't stock inventory. Always in stock, one of the beauties of this business. It's white cotton, unisex adult, and it's in the clothing, shirts and tops category underneath apparel and accessories. So this is all a bunch of information that we have to push to Google Merchant. And at Graphic Tea Coach, what we do is tweak this all the time and tweak it according to the changes that Google makes. And we do various things to update this information to make products sell better for myriad reasons. So we'll come back to that later. But anyway, this is what the merchant feed looks like. So what happens is that merchant feed, remember, gets pushed from your store over to Google Merchant. So here's the Google Merchant Center. So this is the Google Merchant dashboard. And again, anyone who's a Graphic Tea Coach customer who has purchased a merchant feed setup from us or as a premium member, and that includes the merchant feed setup, we ask you to send a screenshot of Google Merchant dashboard, that's this, and a screenshot of the Google Ads dashboard as well, which we'll come to in a minute. But basically what we're looking for when we ask you for those screenshots is green here and green here. This bottom green dashboard says that all the products, and you can see that there are actually close to 150,000 products on this site, which may seem like a lot, but it's not that hard to get there. And that's one of the things that I can talk to you about later as well. But this is saying that the Google Shopping Ads products are all green, they're all active. And this is saying that they're all active across surfaces across Google. That means that these products are showing up in Google Images when someone does an organic search and various other places that are not shopping ads per se. So this is all good. It's green. So let's look at diagnostics. This is another important part of what's on here. So yes, we can see that everything looks green, but actually I do see a little bit of red at the bottom of here, and you can see that there are some products that are disapproved. So if I go to diagnostics, I can find out why. So I have 141,600 products that are good and 502 that are disapproved. It's pretty good as far as ratio goes, but you don't necessarily want to have disapproved products in here. So if we scroll down, we can see why. A kind of a grievous one is violation of shopping ads policy. So if I take a look at the samples and see why they're violating shopping ads policy, Google doesn't tell me, of course. This is one of the most frustrating things about dealing with Google. They'll suspend accounts and they won't tell you why. And if you ask them why, they still won't tell you why. They expect you to figure it out, or they expect you to know, and most people don't. So you'll see a lot of complaints across the internet about people getting their Google Merchant account suspended and having no idea why and not being able to get it back. And then suddenly their livelihoods are affected. So we have dealt with a lot of these suspensions, and we dealt with some bad ones about a year back, and worked through a lot of the kinks, and we're pretty successful at getting things unsuspended these days. Now, just by looking at these shirts, they're all just basic city shirts. There's some city called Norco. So, we've got a shirt called Straight Out of Norco, California, grunge parody baseball raglan shirt. Why is that a violation of Google shopping ads? A quick Google search for Norco tells us pretty quickly. It's a narcotic. So even though it's a city, it's also a narcotic, and advertising narcotics on Google Shopping is banned. So they have a bit of a catch-all policy that affects us in not a good way here, but there's not really much we can do about it. So really what I should do if I'm properly managing this site, which I'm not, because it's one of a lot of sites that I have up and running, and I kind of ignore it, but that's going to be good for you guys, because I'm going to in a future live stream fix this site and boost its sales. One of the things that I'll do when I fix the site is fix these shopping ads violations. But for now, I'm not going to worry about it. The other thing that's in here is the feed. So remember, we're pushing the merchant feed from the store to Google Merchant. Well, that happens here. So we have this feed set up. We actually have a couple feeds, but that's for another live stream. But in this particular feed, we can see that there is a daily fetch schedule. So in other words, Google Merchant pulls it from the store daily, every day at 7 a.m. Here's a link to the feed that it pulls. And we tell it what time and what time zone to pull it in. So every day at 7 a.m. Eastern time, this feed gets pulled. So an important thing to note there as a seller is if I put a product on my site at 9 in the morning, Google Merchant won't know about it till 7 a.m. the next morning, because that's when it gets pulled. And then after that, as a matter of fact, it goes into a review process. So it won't be available, it won't be shown in Google Shopping right away. Usually several hours after it gets into the feed, it's available in Google Shopping. So this is where we set up the product feed. The other thing, remember back on this slide, Google Merchant links to Google Ads. So over here in Google Merchant, we also have something called account linking. And if I go in here, you can see that this Google Merchant account is linked to this Google Ads customer ID. I could unlink it, which I don't want to do, but this is how the Google Ads account knows about this Google Merchant account, and in turn about the products that are on it. So let's jump from here, Google Merchant, over to Google Ads. Back to our dashboard. Oh, just very quickly, the other thing you can see on this dashboard is some announcements and the number of paid clicks. And at a glance, something that's interesting is it looks like this site gets, on average 20 clicks a day. And if you've read some of my other stuff, you'll know that I say with Google Merchant, if you get 20 clicks, you'll probably get a sale. So that means that this site looks like it's probably selling about a product a day, a shirt a day, which doesn't sound like a lot, but if you add it up, say the store profits $10 per shirt a day, that's $300 a month, and we multiply that by 14 because Christmas counts as 3 months, December counts as 3 months. So we're looking at around $4,200 a year this site brings in. And I can tell you that this site was set up in about a week. That's how long it took to get those 150,000 products on there. So that week's worth of work results in around $4,200 a year. So you can imagine how much you can do with a little bit more work. So before we jump over to Google AdWords, let's just look at the store again and see if I can confirm that these 20 clicks a day result in a sale a day. So if I go back over to the store admin, which is loading slowly for some reason, so I'll come back to it. Let's jump over to Google Ads, like I was planning to do. Okay. So this is the Google Ads dashboard. And what I see here is a snapshot of all my campaigns that I have running on Google Ads, which happens to be only one campaign right now. And this is confirming what we just saw on the Google Merchant screen. It's showing that the site gets, somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 clicks a day on average. Here we got 17 clicks on May 10th. We got 22 on the 11th. We got 30 on the 12th. So it's getting around 20 clicks. It's the same thing that is shown in that Google Merchant dashboard. But here we see something else. We also see the red line, which is impressions. So impressions here, for example, on May 14th, there were 20 clicks and 2,318 impressions. Impressions is the number of times that ads were shown to people. In other words, they did a search and that ad popped up on the side. So it goes to show you that, somewhere around 1% of the people that see an ad actually click on it. With some tweaking, I think I could probably get this up closer to 2.5%, 3%. But really, even 1% is pretty good. So if I click on campaigns, like I told you, there's one campaign running on here. It's called Campaign 1 because we only have one campaign. There's a budget of $20 a day on this campaign. You can see that the click-through rate is close to 1%, like I was telling you. There's been 272 clicks over this date range, which is the 1st to the 15th of May. The average cost per click has been 6 cents. When you're starting out, you'll probably get a cost per click of closer to 10 until your site gets more popular, but eventually it'll trend down toward this 6 cent kind of range. So in other words, I was saying 20 clicks results in a sale. Let's jump back over here. And let's look at the actual sales on this site. In the month of May so far, we have had 14 sales. There's been 15 days in May, I think. So it's at about a sale a day. Some months get more than others. You can see that this site really only sells around 20 shirts a month, but because our number of clicks has been around 20 a day in May, we're seeing that one sale a day kind of average happen. You can see that in December 2018, we had closer to 70 sales on this site. So you see that sales tend to triple around Christmas. That's always good to know. So it's May right now. You've got 6 months to get ready for Christmas. Definitely a lot of what you're doing now should be about loading products onto your site, building your sales so that you can take advantage of that relative windfall in November, December of this year. Okay, so the other thing we can see is shoppers that have been on this site. You can see that this traffic is coming from Google. I can see that if this says shipped, then this product was actually purchased on May 12th, and it came from Google. If I see cart, it means someone put the product in the cart but didn't buy it. You can see that the purchase percentage on this site is around 50%. 50% of the people that put it in their cart actually buy it. That's pretty good. Actually, 35% is even good. So people who find shirts on this site, when they see them, they want them and they buy them. They're not just window shopping, and it's a very specific site, so that's probably why that's the case. So let's talk about billing again for a second. So if I further click into the campaign, I'll get to the ad group underneath. We only have one ad group. We have one campaign, we have one ad group. I've set this site to have a maximum cost per click of 8 cents. It's only costing me 6, and that's good. So it's not even hitting my maximum. So in the month of May so far, clicks have cost me about $16. And remember that resulted in 14 sales in May. So a sale is costing me a little over $1 a shirt. My profit on most of those shirts is going to be between $10 and $13. So I'm making a little bit more than $10 a shirt on this site, but there's some PayPal fees as well. So it's probably somewhere closer to 10 or between 9 and 10 somewhere. Depends what sells. If you're selling hoodies and tanks and premium shirts and that kind of thing, your profit is a little bit higher. So, so as far as the billing, how it works is this $15, I'm not going to get charged till the end of the month. So those sales that happened on my store, all these people who bought, and if I look at the sales chart again, you can see the numbers. So all these people that bought this $400, that's in my PayPal account right now before Google has even charged me. So a lot of people are worried about, oh, I don't want to start paying for advertising. I don't want to start paying for a Google merchant. What if I don't sell anything? It doesn't work that way. You get clicks, you get sales. You get money in your account, you pay Google at the end of the month. So you're not out of pocket. This business, if you're doing print on demand and you have inventory, you have a t-shirt game commerce store and you're not paying hosting fees, you can get going for very, very little money and start making the money. And it's one of the only businesses I can think of where you get your money before you have to start paying any of your suppliers. So that's billing. So I'm getting close to wrapping up, and I have seen a couple of questions about whether this is going to be available later. And yes, it is. As soon as the video finishes, as soon as the live stream finishes, Facebook will upload it probably in 5 or 10 minutes to the group, and you'll see it there. And later tomorrow morning, I'll actually answer any questions that are posted as comments. So if you have any questions, make sure to post them as comments, or if there's anything that you missed or didn't understand or want to see in the next live stream, let me know, and I'll answer those questions tomorrow. So I wanted to talk about how to use Google Merchant to improve your sales. So first of all, you need Google Merchant to get sales in the first place. If you have a store, your own domain, like worldclasscitykeys.com, and you don't have Google Merchant on it, then you're either paying too much for advertising or you're not getting very many sales, or you're just getting organic sales here and there. In order to sell on your own domain, you need Google Merchant. And your profit margins with Google Merchant on your own domain are far better than things like eBay or Amazon or Wish or Etsy. There's no listing fees. The cost per sale is much, much less than eBay's final value fee, for example. There are far fewer restrictions on what you can put on your site. Google's a lot more lenient about what it allows. Google didn't allow the narcotics products or products that they thought were narcotics related products, but eBay, Amazon, etc., they're far more restrictive about what you can put on there. If you get a complaint about what's on your store, it comes to you, and you can decide if you want to take it down. If you get complaints on Amazon or eBay, it goes to them, and they can decide if they want to shut your account down, for example. So having your own site's important, and having Google Merchant Feed working on it and tuned is equally important. So what else can we do once the merchant feed is actually up and running? Well, if we go back to the Google Ads dashboard, the overview, there's a very useful bunch of information here. In this searches area. So I can see that someone searched for straight out of Mexico City, and that resulted in 44 impressions and 1 click. I can also see that someone searched for a t-shirt from University of Erfurt. We're not selling that on this store, so that's actually not a great click for us. I see City of Coachella, cloth store, clothing store, maybe they mean, with t-shirts. That's good. So someone's looking for t-shirts about the city of Coachella, and they found them here. So if I actually click on all searches, and then let me look at a bigger date range here. Say since November 1st, 2018. Now I have a lot of data. And if I sort this by impressions, which it is right now, I can see which of the search terms that people have used have resulted in the most clicks and the most impressions on this site. So I see this, Michoacan shirts, I see Grindstone clothing, this one again, Durango, Mexico shirts. So I know that when someone searches for this kind of stuff, Google gives this site an impression and people tend to click on it. So one of the quickest ways I can double my sales on this site is to add more of what I know people are already looking for. So I know people are looking for this kind of stuff. So I'm just going to add more products about that. And by the way, I did want to slip in that for Graphic Tee Coach Premium members, you're going to get a lot more of these live streams that I'm doing and videos like this. One of the ones that I have coming up for you in the near future is I'm going to take this site, which we know is only selling around 20, 17, 30 sales a month, and I'm going to do some tweaks to it that double, triple the sales. And that's just a little teaser about one of the things that I'm going to do. I'm going to use this data to do that. I can look at search terms, and I can sort by impressions, or I can sort by clicks. So here's another very interesting thing that I can do. If I look at things that have 0 clicks, but a bunch of impressions, let's just look at this one, for example. It's got 10 impressions and 0 clicks. People were searching for a University of Akron mom shirt. Well, we're not doing university shirts on this site. We're doing City of Akron shirts, probably, but we're not doing University of Akron. So I can actually turn this into what's called a negative keyword. And what that means is the next time someone searches for University of Akron mom shirt, Google will not show any product from this store. And what that does is, first of all, prevents bad impressions. It prevents wasted impressions and wasted clicks, where I have to pay 6 cents for someone that really didn't want the shirt. The more we do that, the more it actually improves this site in terms of in terms of matching customer expectations in Google's eyes. So it actually boosts the impressions and clicks of our other products when we get rid of clicks that customers didn't really want to arrive at our site when they clicked. So that's another trick. So that's pretty much it. We're pushing products from our store to Google Merchant and from there to Google Ads. There's a lot of complexity along the way in setting this up, and there are endless settings that I didn't get into, and Google is constantly changing them. It's one of the reasons why Graphic Tea Coach exists, to try and help people with navigating through this stuff. So that's pretty much it. A few things that I want you to take away from this. Like I said, tomorrow I'll respond to any comments. So remember to add comments, leave feedback. It's appreciated and will help to build better content in the future live streams that I do. If you do not have a working merchant feed, take note of the link that's at the bottom of the screen, graphicteacoach.com/merchant. And there's some information on how to get set up, how we can set you up there. We can set you up. We offer a one-time purchase of a service to do it. Also, our premium members, which is a 14-day free trial, get a Google Merchant feed set up as part of the premium membership, which after the trial is $10 a month. So essentially, you sell one T-shirt a month, you'll get your $10 back. You'll sell a lot more than that if you follow the instructions that we provide and tune into some of these info sessions that we do. Another thing that I wanted to offer for people that have tuned into this or people who watch it later, if you are a premium Graphic Tea Coach member and you have a Google Merchant feed that is working, and by the way, if you don't, email us at support and let us know and make sure we get you set up. But if you're a Graphic Tea Coach premium member and you have a working merchant feed, send me a private message and I will work with you and put 500 free products on your site. It's worth it for me to do that because Graphic Tea Coach makes money when you make money. If you've got a good working merchant feed, I'm happy to help you get some products on your site that I know will sell. And every seller is unique. Every seller has a little bit of a unique feel, niche, etc. So that's why I want to talk to you about it first, because I'll make sure that the products are unique to you and also will sell. And I know that if they get pushed into the Google Merchant feed, they'll sell. So send me a private message if you're interested in that. Finally, like I said, premium members, I'm going to do some more live streams like this. You'll get notified by email. I will do some more publicly as well, like this one. But premium members are going to get more, of course. That's part of that $10 a month fee. So you're going to want to see the one where I take this site and convert it into a more successful site. So it's going to be a real example of making changes to a site and turning it from a $4,200 a year income type site to a $15,000, $20,000 a year income type site. And that is pretty much a wrap. So thanks everyone for joining, and I will talk to you soon.